So, welcome everyone. I just want to thank you for joining us. And I'm Lani. I'm with the Lookout Society, and I'm a part of the team that does HIFIS community coordination for BC. I am a part of the team that is not the I'm not the trainer. That would be Isaac, and Leonard would be kind of our how to implement HIFIS within an organization kind of expert. So if it's okay, I will move us along just the beginning of our session today quite quickly, and that way we can get to the live demo of HIFIS. So I will, first of all, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I'm on these conference calls, I'm always wondering what people look like. So we have Elaine. There's myself. I do love my bicycle, so I like to pose with my bicycle. And the picture of Isaac and Leonard is actually, they went up to the Yukon to do some training for some of the shelters in the Yukon on HIFIS. So, of course, they had to show off themselves in the snow. So we have a pretty simple agenda today. Our old businesses, I'll just quickly touch on the focus paper, which we've kept on the agenda because there was 5 recommendations that we've been looking at as a group, as well as, sorry, what was it called? Our experiment that we did last time, so I'll just quickly move on to those. Now, I'm thinking I won't actually get into the recommendations that we've been talking about for the focus paper, but I'll kind of just keep it on the agenda. That way we can touch on it next time. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And part of, so the other thing is, the experiment that we did about a month ago was the unique client survey. And with that's kind of what our call today has come out of, because as we really experimented with just a couple of questions to kind of test our own databases and how we got certain information, the request came just to do a live demo of HIFIS. So that we could just get to know it more and if it's a viable option for some of our agencies. So, jumping right into new business, what is HIFIS? I'm going to give a really quick, how we're going to do this is I will give just kind of the big picture overview of what HIFIS is about, and then I'll hand it over to Isaac. And he is going to just tell us some of the specifics very quickly, and then give us a live demo on HIFIS from his computer. So, just very quickly, the big picture, kind of what HIFIS software is. It's free of charge. It enhances sheltering agencies and service providers, as well as supportive housing. Ability to manage daily operations. HIFIS is a means to collect information about people using your shelter, including individuals as well as families who benefit from the service support offered by providers. Now, one of the reasons that the Lookout has really appreciated HIFIS is because it does maintain client anonymity. Within your organization, you can see people's names and birth dates, but as soon as you export it and export it to funders, it keeps those people anonymous. HIFIS assists in reports and reporting on shelter use, allowing communities to collect and analyze data on homelessness and shelter use that is of vital local and national significance. I like history lessons, so HIFIS, it was developed between 1995 and 2001, and it was developed by the federal government, and they involved community agencies, municipalities, governments, universities, and people who are homeless themselves. I'll just say, HIFIS isn't perfect. I don't think any database is. What I think really is important is if it works for you and your organization and can help meet your needs. Because again, we do pretty complex work. I don't think any database can completely meet our needs. It really has gone, it's been on quite the journey. I think HIFIS the last couple years has gotten a lot better, which is good for those of us using it and those that would like to. Yeah, I'm excited to show you guys just what it's all about. So this is, I like visuals, and this is kind of a visual, my blob visual of what you can use HIFIS for. The really big areas that HIFIS is great for is the shelters, is supported housing. You see the red blob, it's good if you want to be tracking the goods and services that individuals are receiving. The pink one if you want to be doing case management. It's really great for outreach. There is an app that's continuing to be worked on and brought more up to speed, like where outreach workers can actually be searching and uploading information from an app while they're out on the field. As well as it works great for drop-in centers. You can actually print out IDs that people can just do a quick login with. So this is where I'm actually going to turn it over to Isaac. And Isaac, should I just flip through it as you go, or do you want me to hand the mouse over to you?
You can hold on to the mouse for now.
Sure. All right.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so the best part of HIFIS is you can customize whatever field you collect. You can book in the client, track program funding per bed, goods and services, including meal programs and food banks. So case management is huge in HIFIS. This is new, where you can track goals, outcomes, set appointments, follow-up dates, track time spent and activities engaged, which I'm going to go into when I do the live demo. For the outreach team, they can quickly look up a client, see if they've been served by the shelter or any of the programs in your organization. Access notes is even quicker with the web app or the next version of HIFIS. With the express lane, you can book in someone with 2 clicks. You can add health, history, medication, treatment, doctors, and emergency contact information. In the latest version of HIFIS, you can attach documents, photos, PDFs, anything you can scan, you can put in. You can even print off identification cards. These can be scanned in to book someone into HIFIS. So it's like a barcode with a QR code or a standard barcode. You just need a scanner to scan them in. All organizations who use HIFIS have full support from us and from Ottawa. We provide on-site training and support. Here, a little echo. If you need, hello. If you,
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that sounded better that time, Isaac.
if you need computer hardware, you can apply for computer equipment from CFS Computers for Schools. We have a contract with CFS with organizations who use HIFIS. In the front desk of HIFIS, that's the list of current clients who are staying.
And Isaac, should I turn the screen over to you now so
Sure.
that they can actually be seeing it? So just 1 second, folks. I'm just going to do that if you'll just bear with me.
Hey, this is HIFIS, Homeless
go.
Individuals and Families Information System. So this is just a demo of HIFIS. There's no real data. Yeah, so I'm logged in as the administrator. I can do anything. You can also create sub-accounts for standard users. Here in the front desk, you can find your clients. Management can run reports. Any bulletins that show up on a client pop up daily and gets refreshed every time you log in. So it's sort of like an alert. Front desk. So don't get overwhelmed with all these functions. Modules that you don't need, you can gray out.
Isaac, this is Simon from UGM here.
Yes, Simon.
I kind of assumed you were going to show us HIFIS 4.0. I mean, I don't know what everyone else's understanding was. Because this one is soon to be replaced, right?
This is HIFIS 3.8 for organizations who don't have the infrastructure for a HIFIS server. They're going to be using HIFIS 3 for smaller organizations. So you're right.
And hey, this is Lani here, Simon. Yeah, sorry, we maybe should have clarified that. I know kind of what we were thinking was to show the version that's currently in use right now, and that way this is the one that people would be downloading. Although we do have, hopefully in the near future, within the next year, 4.0 will be coming out.
Okay.
Is it?
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I didn't realize that HIFIS 4.0 is still a year away, so that's fine.
Well, it's not necessarily a year away. I would say, I'd hopefully within the year. They just haven't given us the exact date of. Am I right there, Isaac?
It was supposed to be spring 2014, but there has been some delay, and so we're expecting it to come soon, within a year.
Okay, you know what? Don't worry about it. I don't want to hold us up. You go ahead with the presentation.
Okay.
Thanks.
So everything here is basically going to be on the new version, except the layout is a little bit different. So the functions and functionality should more or less be the same. With this version, you can install it on your computer and share it with other computers on your network. So here you can see a list of different buttons. Each one is its own module. You can track, turnaways when you refuse a service or if there's no beds available. Bar clients restrict access to your shelter, case management, which I'm going to go through, and housing placement. So you can do 3- and 6-month follow-ups here. Inside reception is a list of currently staying clients and the list of previous clients. Everyone in green is booked in right now. So if you see, click on Charbel Al-Buani, I can hover over this little house and see that they are booked in to Abrida Turnisel. People in bold has an alert. So with Basia Dagner, if I go to the risk factor, I can see that they have a medical alert since 2011. The first thing I would do to find someone is type in their last name. So if I type in Dagner, the role that gets highlighted is the closest matching match for what I type in. You can also search by date of birth, and you can see this automatically sorts the entire list by date of birth. So let me book in a new client, Mike Dagner. This is the grandson of Henry. This is a demo. Demo only allows 37 clients. Last name Dagner, first name Mike. You can put in the date of birth or put in an approximate age. Let's say he just turned 18. Now, HIFIS will check for potential duplicates. Before you save, it's important to check this list. There's going to be a list that pops up if there's any closely resembling names and date of birth. HIFIS is also great to keep track of families, parents and children, relationships. Once they're created, you're automatically in the client details screen. Here you can put in their basic information, citizenship, Aboriginal indicator, and veteran status. You can see these fields in red have to be saved. These are mandatory fields. If they show me their health card or any type of identification, I can add a new identification. Here you can see a list of ID types that you have defined. Each list in HIFIS is customizable, so you can name a field called student ID or student email, and you can keep track of that. At the top here, there are 7 tabs. Basically, each tab corresponds to a different group of information. This is to help you navigate HIFIS easier. And your physical attributes, you can put in how a client looks like. These are all optional. You can disable the graphic person if you like.
Isaac, this is Ani. You'd mentioned to me that this, because I was asking about the screen when I sat in your trainings, and you were mentioning that the screen is good, especially if you're dispensing medication and you just want your staff to have confirmation that they're giving the medication to the right person.
Yeah, when the shelters in Winnipeg, I think they use this for their medication programs to identify clients better. Here you can instantly capture a photo of your client if you have a USB camera. Or just upload a recent picture. Various factors are more reasons contributing to their stay. If they have any disability, whether they were discharged from treatment, discrimination, family breakdown, eviction. Lack of housing is a popular one. You can select the type, add multiple many, and put in the date since this started happening. Risk factors include drug, fire, universal precautions. Again, this list you can define yourself and make it your own. There's more to put in: the risk of homelessness, whether they're at or hidden homeless, life events such as foster home, adoption, childhood abuse, etc. In housing, you can put in where their previous address was, where were they staying before they came to your organization. Were they on the street? Which city were they in? And all these stats can be generated into a report after. Employment, you can track their exact source of income, such as PWD or income assistance. You can also show that they are unable to work or looking for work or attending school. And put in reasons for not working. In comments, this is your free text box. So this is very powerful. It's a central piece of case planning, just putting in their notes. You can put as much as you need in here. Now that I have the basic information in, a staff that goes in can look at, we'll see this on their first screen, that they're Canadian, unknown Aboriginal indicator, maybe they can ask about that. And they can read up on their notes and comment I'm just going to go back. You can always go back by hitting the door in HIFIS to exit. And now I can book them into the shelter or transitional housing. Select my service provider. This can be Yukon Shelter, Abri Cell. This can also be a list of your transitional housing, your outreach teams, food bank. Reason for service. So Mike ran away from home. He had a relationship breakdown with his family. And here the book-in day and time was automatically filled in for me. This is a setting that can be turned on or off. Now I can select a bed. Everyone that is blue or purple is a male. If there was any photo that was uploaded, it will appear here. People in green are females, and transgendered or other show up yellow. So let me put him beside George. I'm just going to click and drag little Mike going to go back. If there's any additional notes, I can put it in here. These notes are specific to their stay booking. Automatically date stamped and username. Once they're booked in, now little Mike is in green. You can see he's bold because I put a risk factor on him. If I click on Mike, hover over the risk factor on the bottom left, I can click in to see more information. He was using drugs since 2000. So this is an alert for me. You can also put in bulletins, which are full text alerts that can last within a specified time frame. Now I'm going to add a goods and services. So let's say I provided a pair of jeans, a hoodie, and some medication services to Mike. I can add a new goods and service. Click add. So some clothing. So it's a pair of jeans and a hoodie sweater. You can also keep track of costs. In services, yes?
Isaac, you just got sort of generic, the word clothing, sort of generic item. Can you identify jeans, hoodies, socks?
So you can break this down if you wanted to. You can break this down by jeans, socks. Each field here, you can name it to whatever you want.
So we could customize that list.
Yes. If it's a family, you can assign more than one person being served. It's the same for services. The second tab in the middle, I can add any employment services, financial management, HIV services, laundry. So I don't have medication in here. I'm going to show you how to add it later. You can put in the date, and if this is ongoing, you can just leave the end date blank. Expended time and unit cost can be tracked. In most places in HIFIS, you can put in comments to put in more notes. So things that you want to actually type in, you can put in here. Sometimes you may refer a client to an external organization for more resources. Again, this list can be customized to your regional, local, community organizations. You can also keep track of program funding. So associate all the costs of all these services to a funder. That's sort of how goods and services looks like. Before I go into case management, I'm just going to go back and show you how the report looks like. Just going to go back to the reports. There's a few different reports here, goods and with an individual client you can select, or you can have a group summary. By site. Let's say I wanted to see all the goods and services provided for the month of April. I can do April 1st to April 16th, or I can select the whole month. Run my report and select which fields I want to display. I want to know the number of adults, the date, the quantity. For my goods and services. So if you can see this, for the month of April 2014, I served 12 adults here and 3 units of goods were provided. While 4 services were provided to 4 adults, so that totals to 16. So this is just an example of how a report can look like. I'm just going to go back into front desk, into case management now.
Isaac, I wonder if this is a good time just to check in about questions now that we've seen how to book someone in and book them into a bed and give them goods and services.
I'm just wondering if there's the value, we talked about the cost of things. I'm wondering if the value, if the dollar value of goods and services, if there's space to record that. Because some of these things may have a dollar value.
So there may be a pre-assigned value for each the service or each good that you provide. So it may not be necessary to actually put it in each time. You can save this report as an Excel and work with it there.
Okay.
Let me just show you how this looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we could predetermine the value of certain goods or services, include that in our choices, or could it just pop up automatically?
There's no function for that right now.
Okay. We'd have to create it. Okay. In the Excel spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
So Isaac, I think like if you're actually in goods and services, not in the reports, can you say customize your list to have a bus ticket and already have the amount of the bus ticket in there, so when you give them a bus ticket that the cost is already there?
That would be one option, but it may be ugly. If I just exit, I can go to administration to customize my lookup tables. This is where we define our custom fields for services, let's say. I can add medication, administration. Like the name here is what shows up. If you wanted to, you could possibly call it something with a dollar value. But I don't believe that's how it was originally intended to be used.
Okay, so what you're saying is you can customize the list, but if it's a bus ticket, then I would just have to put the value in of what the bus ticket is when I gave that good and service out, when I gave the bus ticket out.
Right.
Okay, thanks. Does that help answer your question, Barb, or were we off track?
I think that really what I'm thinking about are the things that you mentioned, like the value of bus tickets. Sometimes we do pay for things like dental services, for example. It'd be nice to be able to keep track of it, but I think it's okay that we, transpose it into an Excel spreadsheet and then just add the value in. That's fine with me too.
Isaac, in the goods, could you actually just do an example of, like, what would you do if you wanted to put a bus ticket in and it cost money?
Bus ticket. I think the closest one is transportation. So it can be a pack of bus tickets or just one. It would look something like this.
Oh, that's great.
It should fill it in there, right?
Right.
So that's a good example. Moving on to case management, if there's no questions. HIFIS case management. So this is the centerpiece of HIFIS, where you can keep track of goals, outcomes, activities, appointments, and even attach documents. Let's say Mikey needs to work on relationship, family, and relationship maintenance. You can customize this to call it what you want. Open a goal. There may or may not be a target date. And I can select the primary case planner working with Mikey. Along with assigning the program that funds this program. Add a new session. Here I can keep track of anything that you do, anything the client does, or anything that we both do together. So maybe we set a goal, which is to call mom once a week. And this is going to take 15 minutes. This is his responsibility. And I can type in more notes if I wanted to. We have decided that Mikey will call mom once a week, in the morning or after hours, after her work. The text box allows you for freedom to type in as much as you need. And these comments are linked to this goal-setting activity. You can add more activities if you wanted to. Maybe he's getting some family counseling, and this is with an external organization, Family Services. It's like it's a 2-hour appointment every week. And I'm going to select the family resources here for my stats. In documents, you can attach any forms that you fill. Perhaps you faxed him a form, or maybe he filled it in a form to get accepted to this program. As long as you have a scanner, you can scan it in. And if you can scan it into your computer, you can add it into HIFIS. There's more places for notes pertaining to this goal and to this client. Maybe client has the second goal. He has an addiction. Something he's been working on since he was 12. You can see my list of activities has just changed. This list of activity depends on what goal you choose. And each one is customizable.
Hi, Isaac. This is Lanny here. I'm just seeing that we have about 10 minutes left. And so I'm wondering if there's any other areas we want to quickly touch on just to leave a few minutes for some Q&A at the end.
That's basically it for case management. You can get a general feel of how it looks and feels. There's more reports in HIFIS that you can try. I highly recommend downloading the free demo, giving it a try, put in some information, and run some reports. I now open the floor to anyone for our question Q&A session.
Isaac, this is Barbara again. Why I didn't quite follow the discussion about 3.8, version 3.8 version as opposed to version 4.0. What would limit us being able to get or use 4.0?
If you have the infrastructure for a computer server,
okay, we do, yeah. Okay.
Then you should be moving on to HIFIS 4, assuming that you need web connectivity across different buildings in different areas.
Okay.
.8 is just the original version, which can be installed on your standalone computer. Requires minimal resources. As long as you have an internet and a network, you can file share and share printers. Then you can use 3.8 in a local network environment.
Mm-hmm.
Can you use 3.8 on a server?
Yes, that's what we do at Lookout.
So you don't use 4.0 at Lookout?
4.0 is still being in development.
Okay. And Isaac, the other question I have is about training. I think I remember from previous calls that training would be provided for free. Am I correct on that?
As long as you sign the DPA, we are here to support you. So we can come do on-site training, support, whatever we can provide, we will help you.
That's terrific.
Barb, this is Lani here. Because we have access to GoToMeeting, I think one thing that could work really well is just to bring Isaac in. Like if you did decide to use HIFIS, kind of the process would be download the demo, try it out, and then when you want to use it for real, it has you sign an agreement with HIFIS, which is what Isaac was referring to as a DPA. And then any support you need in actually getting it up and running, installed, and any imports of data, the National Help Desk can help with, as well as anything that we can do, we would help with. And then typically, an organization would bring Isaac in to train the trainers. So if there's a few people that would then, because, new staffers, often starting or coming in, so to really train the trainers. But then with GoToMeeting, like let's say if your trainers need a refresher or you guys just have questions where you're like, hey, Isaac, show us how to do this, then we can even do that very quickly with a web conference.
All right, that's great. And any news yet about whether or not we are still going to have to use both databases? If we choose HIFIS as well, will we have to do both, the BC Housing Database and HIFIS? Can you update us on that?
Sure. Yeah, this is Lani again. At the moment, yes. One thing that we're working on at the Lookout, because we're able just to do that single upload, we are working on just working with BC Housing to just make it as smooth of a process as possible. That way, hopefully they'll be open, and as different organizations actually request it, they'll be open to actually doing that for everyone. But yeah, at the moment, you'd have to do double entry. So really, it would replace, I know a lot of organizations are using just papers and pens or Excel sheets. It would hopefully replace all of those.
But is there any hope that one day we will only have to do just HIFIS? I mean, is that never going to happen? Or do you think it will happen?
You know, you can't say for sure, but I really hope it will. I hope that as the, yeah, and I think that there will need to be speaking up because people actually requesting it, right? But I don't know, Leonard, if you might have a better answer to that, because you're more in discussion with BC Housing.
Yeah, so BC Housing contracted someone to do a review, and she's met with a couple of organizations in the Lower Mainland in early January, and then she sent out a survey across the province to a number of the service providers. So my understanding is they're just in the process of kind of summarizing their results, and we're expecting a report out from BC Housing probably in May on what their findings were. So they also talked to HIFIS in Ottawa about the ability to communicate amongst different programs, and Ottawa's willingness to be part of that solution. So again, it's kind of in BC Housing's hands what they're gonna do. We continue to kind of, I guess, advocate on behalf of organizations that want options other than BC Housing's database, but also the ability to provide BC Housing with the information they need. So,
Okay,
we
thanks.
just kind of wait and see what their final report is. So yeah.
I wonder, just in the last couple of minutes, one thing that we didn't talk about was the ability to use an app and do kind of off-site. I wonder if either Isaac or Leonard could maybe just do a quick description of what that's about.
Sorry, I missed the beginning of that.
Could you maybe just do a quick description about how the app works for HIFIS?
Yeah, so HIFIS, they developed a little app, mobile app, that can be used with HIFIS 3.8. There's only one organization that I'm aware of that's actually using it, and they're out in Regina. They haven't really worked on the app in probably the last 8 to 10 months because the focus has really been HIFIS 4, which would then replace the app because it would be web-based. So it's just basic. You get a basic kind of infrastructure. You can kind of add in a name quickly. You can look up a list of clients and have some functionality if you're on kind of out and about. But I played with it a little bit last summer, but again, it was we haven't really done a lot with it.
And Leonard, you said it was 4.0 because it's web-based. That would replace that. So does that mean then that HIFIS would be accessible to people when they're out on the go?
Yeah.
4.0?
So if they set up the infrastructure to have access via the web and open up their web servers to the internet, then yeah, they would be accessing directly to the database in 4.0.
Great, thank you. Well, just while we have just a couple, 1 or 2 more minutes, is there any more questions that anyone has for Leonard or for Isaac? I'm just noticing on this last screen here, sorry, my help desk phone number, I didn't actually fill it in, but I'll actually get everyone this information properly. No more questions? All right. Well, we have recorded this session, so, you know, all goes well in me doing the download of it. We should have it available for you guys to check out as well. And just so that you're aware, right now as the community coordinators for HIFIS, we are in between funding cycles, which means the next month we'll still be absolutely like answering and doing whatever we can to help you, but we might just do it a little bit more minimally. But if you want us to do a live demo such as this with your organization or with the boards of directors, where we can actually answer questions that are really specific to your organization, you're welcome. Just contact us. And if for some reason you're ready to actually try it out, and feel free to let us know if you have any issues or you need any assistance. So thank you everyone so much for being a part of this and for being a part of this conversation. It was really good.
Thank you, Lanny.
You're welcome.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Michelle, I'll talk to you after.
Thanks for the
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.